All right, guys. So I think I said on one of my videos I wasn't going to react to microphone anymore, or at least not for a little while. But I can't help it. This video he just dropped is right up my alley, and it's right up pretty much everyone on this channel who's subscribed in the last year up their alley too. So shout out to you guys. I am a huge Luka Doncic fan. I have his jersey. I rooted. I knew about him way before he was drafted. I was like, "There's this guy in the EuroLeague who is cooking people, absolutely slicing them up." And he wasn't even getting that much minutes. I mean, he eventually did, but for a while he wasn't getting as many minutes as he probably should have because he was young. And he is special, and I knew that he was special. I made a video on this channel, I think when I had like 200 subscribers, way back like 7-8 years ago. That, you know, Luka Doncic, it might be on my channel if you filter popular videos, basically just explaining how awesome he was and how amazing it was. And then I made a video after his rookie year explaining how amazing his rookie year was compared to LeBron. And really there's not that many people to compare it to besides LeBron, because they're 1 and 2, like they're the best young players ever. Really, they are. LeBron and Luka are the best, like, sub 20-year-olds that ever played the game. Anyway, so Microphone just dropped this video. I couldn't help but watch it. And yeah, let's dive into it. It says the Dallas Mavericks are a disaster. I already made a video about that. You can check that out if you want to hear those thoughts. Otherwise, you're going to hear a lot of the thoughts anyway.
As a top contender for the NBA championship.
Why shouldn't you be fired?
One, I think I've done a really good job here, and I don't think I can be judged by the injuries this year. And you'll see next year when our team comes back, we're going to be competing for a championship.
Do you guys remember all of the preseason hype about the Dallas Mavericks? Cooper Flagg, the generational prospect, Anthony Davis supposedly healthy for a fresh start, a potential playoff team that nobody wanted to face. Hell, people thought that the Luka Doncic trade may have been worth it after all. Yeah, about.
I remember when people said that. I even had a friend that said that. Shout out Big Red Christian, who has been on this channel. That was an L take, bro. That's an L take. It's a very bad take. Oh, that was the Dallas Mavericks got a lot of that. Like, do you know how little of basketball you have to know to actually think that? I'm not even trying to like trash anyone specifically, but like, I thought that was the most ridiculous thing that people said. That was the worst trade ever. Number one, Anthony Davis is one of the most injury prone players ever. So that right there slashes his trade value tremendously. Number two, yeah, he's a great two-way player, sure. Number two, the Dallas Mavericks already had a power forward and a center. Both starting caliber, if not even better than that. Both solid players. They even had Dwight Powell too, which you could argue whether he's an NBA player or not, but he wasn't terrible with Luka, is my whole point. That was the worst trade ever. That was the worst trade ever.
That. The Mavericks currently have the worst offensive rating in NBA history. Not this season, not this decade, in NBA history. They're 3-7, second to last in the Western Conference. Meanwhile, the Lakers with Luka Doncic are 7-3, and they're looking like championship contenders without LeBron James even. 9 months after that shocking February trade, we're watching the most spectacular implosion of a franchise's hopes in recent memory. And now, GM Nico Harrison's job security is the first question people around the league are.
He won't be fired. He shouldn't be fired. And the reason why he shouldn't be fired is detailed in my other video. Patrick Dumont is behind this trade. I think it's Dumont. The owner of the new owner that bought it from Mark Cuban, he was behind the trade. He said, he's been quoted on saying, "Oh, it doesn't work if it doesn't work if like the star player is if he's lazy and stuff like that." It's like, first of all, he was injured, right? He's talking about Luka. Luka got injured, and then he got on Overwatch and started eating chips and got kind of fat. And people are like, "Oh well," you know, like Melo did too. Like people do that, but they singled him out and focused on him. And I guess Melo isn't a great player. That's kind of a bad example. But like he basically said that Luka wasn't worth a supermax deal and stuff like that. That's what he said. That's what he insinuated by it. And Anthony Davis is what? Also, there's the whole question of how do they get the first pick? And I guess they had like an 8%, or I don't remember what it was. If you remember what it was, or if you have the data, put it in the comments below. I don't remember what it was. They had a low chance of getting the pick. They got the pick. We've seen everything's pretty much rigged, right? Did Nico Harrison call, or not rigged, but you know what I mean? Like they do what they do for business reasons, right? It's not all just like, oh, it's just random. I don't know, man. I don't believe that. You don't believe that. And did Nico Harrison call, Adam Silver and call whoever and say, hey, if you give me the first pick, Luka can go to LA because I don't like him or something like that, or whatever it is, or we don't like it. That's what happened. I mean, that's what had to have happened to some extent. You can't convince me. You can't convince me in the comments, and my friend couldn't convince me either, that in good faith, this guy, Nico Harrison, called what's his dick from the Lakers. I don't remember his name. Rob Pelinka, and said, "Hey man, I'll give you Anthony. I want Anthony Davis. I'll give you Luka for him, but I want like a pick or whatever, and like Max Christie. Like, shut up, dude. Like it's like you and then like what's his name? Bridges goes for 4 first-rounders. Get out of town. Just stop.
Asking about. But here's the thing that makes this even more brutal. Since February, Luka Doncic has played in more games than Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, and Derek Lively II combined. The Mavs traded Luka partly because of injury concerns. Now their entire roster is in the medical tent, and Luka is out here averaging 41 points a game for the Lakers. You cannot make this stuff up. So before we get to the content, we are giving away a jersey of your choice to a subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel. It's something I want to do each and every week. Just comment in the comment section down below which jersey you want. And now that we got all of that out of the way, cue the intro.
I'm high level, bro. Like, I see when you're open. You don't even know you're open. Like, be ready for me, bro.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Look, we all know about the Luka Doncic trade right now. I mean, hell, we made like 20 videos about this one trade since February. In case you were living under a rock, February 2nd, 2025, Luka gets traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, one of the most shocking trades in NBA history. The Mavs missed the playoffs last season, finishing 39-43, but heading into the 2025-26 season, there was actually some real optimism in Dallas. Why? 2 words: Cooper Flag. The Mavericks won the NBA draft lottery with just a 1.8% chance and landed the first overall pick. They drafted
Bro. You can't convince me it wasn't rigged. You can't convince me. You're telling me they had a one. This is like Derrick Rose going to the Bulls with a one.
Cooper Flag.
Like,
the Mavericks won the NBA draft lottery in the past 2 decades, right behind Victor Wembanyama. Cooper Flag was the overwhelming favorite to win the Rookie of the Year at -185 odds. Generational talent, 2-way player, high basketball IQ. The kid could do it all. And then there was Anthony Davis. He played very sparingly because he got hurt after the trade last season, but it's a new year.
1.8%. I said 18. I said like 8 point something. It was 1.8% that they would get the number 1 pick. You're telling me there wasn't collusion?
Right?
Okay.
The plan was to pair Anthony Davis with Cooper Flag and create one of the deepest front lines in the NBA. Davis, Flag, Derek Lively II, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington. There's size, there's length.
5 forwards. You know who's really good at setting up forwards? Luka.
There's athleticism. The Mavs had talked about this being a defensive juggernaut. And remember, Nico Harrison's whole reason for trading Luka was this.
Defense wins championships, and we're bringing in one of the best two-way players in the league.
National experts were all over the place with their predictions. Some had the Mavericks finishing as high as the 6th seed in the West. Others predicted 7th or 8th, but the consensus was pretty clear. Once Kyrie Irving came back from his ACL tear around January, this team would be a problem. I mean, check out what NBC Sports wrote in an article. The front line of Anthony Davis, Cooper Flagg, and Derek Lively is one of the best in the NBA. This is a long, athletic team across the board, and Cooper Flagg really lived up to the hype.
Imagine being the Mavericks, right? You want Kyrie Irving, right? That's who you see yourself. Gets hurt all the time. He's a great player. Gets hurt all the time. You don't want Jalen Brunson. You don't want to pay Jalen Brunson, right? You don't want to pay him. You don't want to pay Luka Doncic, but you'll pay a bunch of brittle players, most of whom are forwards and can't handle the ball.
At least in preseason he did, averaging 11.3 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 2.8 assists in just 21.7 minutes. Bleacher Report gave him an A grade for his defense, saying most rookies aren't positively impactful defenders. In fact, plenty detract from their team's defenses, but even if Flagg wasn't graded on a curve here, he might get the A. His feel for the game was obvious, and the Mavericks went 3-1 in preseason. Everything seemed to be coming together. The narrative was simple. Yeah, we missed the playoffs last year, but that was a transition year after the Luka trade. Now we have our generational rookie. Anthony Davis will be healthy for a full season, and by the time Kyrie Irving gets back, we'll be rolling into the playoffs. Spoiler alert, the Mavericks are not rolling. So what's actually happened? Well, let's start with the elephant in the room. Anthony Davis, you know, the guy who was supposed to be the healthy centerpiece of this whole thing, the literal centerpiece of the entire Luka Doncic trade.
How has anyone ever, he has missed more, he's like Joel Embiid level, he misses time. And nobody talks about him like that. Everyone wants to bag on Embiid all the time. He's missed a lot of time.
Already missed the last 3 games with a calf strain, and it gets worse. He's dealing with bilateral Achilles tendinopathy, and reports say he showed up to training camp overweight, thinking he could play his way into shape, but his body couldn't handle the extra mass. Let me say that again. The guy who was supposed to be your defensive anchor, the reason you traded away a 25-year-old MVP candidate that led you to the NBA Finals, showed up to camp out of shape, and now he's hurt, which is kind of ironic because remember the original reason why Nico Harrison wanted to trade Luka Doncic was he was allegedly overweight. And now through the first 9 games of the season,
he was overweight while he was hurt with a major calf injury. I want people to understand that. You can't do cardio very well when you have a calf injury, right? When you have a serious calf injury, you can't really do cardio very well. So you're going to gain weight, right?
Davis has been in and out of the lineup with various injuries, but it's not just AD. Kyrie Irving tore his ACL last season and is out until at least late December or early 2000.
That was the moment where in my opinion, that was the moment. This is just all fallout, right? But in my opinion, that was the moment that it all just got caved in. Nico, this guy, Nico didn't sign Brunson. Brunson goes on to play for the Knicks and be absolutely incredible. Be unbelievably incredible and durable. And even better than Kyrie ever was. And then, well, you could argue, but I think so. At least, I think so. A little bit. And then you trade Luka, who's Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James combined. So you trade him, and then literally a few weeks or months or whatever it was later, Kyrie Irving, so the only guy that you actually did want to start your guard position, the only guy you would pay, who's also old, no offense to Kyrie, he's also my age, but in basketball years, we're old. That guy tears his ACL. And you got Clay also, who tore his ACL at some point.
2026. The guy who was supposed to be your secondary star, your veteran leader, your closer, gone for probably the first 3 months of the season, if not longer. He hasn't played a single game this season yet. Jason Kidd said Lively is basically week to week, which isn't that encouraging since it's a pretty mysterious injury. Daniel Gafford has been in and out. Dante Exum has been out with knee injury management. At one point last season, the Mavericks only had 8 health.
You know what they're out with? They're out with depression. I'm obviously kidding, but like, wouldn't you be depressed if you were a center or a post player and you had Luka Doncic drawing your defenders every single play and all you had to do was just be there under the basket ready to go for an alley-oop and you get like 12 to 14 points a game and you'd be rich beyond your wildest dreams, and then they trade him and now you have to share minutes with a old, egotistical, brittle player who's my age, who's old.
Players available, which is literally the bare minimum required to play a game. And now this season, we're seeing history repeat itself. The team that was supposed to be built on size and depth is getting absolutely murdered by injuries. Here's the stat that should haunt Nico Harrison's dreams. Since the trade in February, Luka Doncic has played in more games than Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, and Derek Lively II combined. The Mavs traded away Luka because of availability concerns and got back a roster that can't stay healthy to save its life. And you know what makes this even more painful? Throughout his 13-year career, AD has missed 244 games. That's basically 3 full seasons. The man has been injured in every part of his body. In his first 5 seasons alone, he had 25 injuries. And the Mavericks thought that this guy was going to be more durable than Luka Doncic? Come on. Now I want to talk about Cooper Flagg because this is maybe the saddest part of the whole story because it's not even his fault. After the Mavs lost to New Orleans, Flagg said something that should break every basketball fan's heart.
For me, it's the most, blocked since, I think ever.
This is a kid that went 33-0 at Montverde Academy and won a national championship.
Why does that break my heart? Just tells me your teammates were awesome, And I'm not saying he's not great too. I'm just saying that it tells me that all of your teammates through your 33-0, it doesn't really break my heart.
He went to the Elite 8 at Duke. He's never experienced losing like this. And here's why he's losing. Jason Kidd is playing him completely out of position. Flagg started the first 7 games of
Now hold on, Mike. That's not why they're losing. They're losing because they're stupid. Because their front office is stupid. That's why they're losing. But I agree. And what other choice does Jason Kidd have? Like, who do they got? Hold on, let's see. Who they got on their roster? Dante Exum, okay, I guess. You could start him. Miles Kelly, I don't know who the hell that is. Klay Thompson, who never handled the ball his whole career. Ryan Neymar, okay, wait, that's not who I'm thinking it is it? No, it's not. No. It's just some guy. Brandon, guys I've never heard of. And D'Angelo Russell. So I guess, honestly, I'd do D'Lo. If I needed a starter, I would be doing D'Lo. Personally. But that's just me. Wait, what is this? This isn't right. Anyway, we'll go back to the video.
The season at point guard. He's a 6'9" forward who played the 3 or 4 at Duke. But since Kyrie Irving is out and the Mavericks
are trying to replicate what Luka did, which is stupid because you traded him. Why are you trying to replicate him now?
Don't have any real point guards, Kidd decided to
I'll just throw a tall white guy out there and he'll be the same as Luka.
Throw an 18-year-old rookie into the most demanding position in basketball, probably in hopes that he could turn into Luka Doncic as well. Tim McMahon summed it up perfectly, saying, "I'm not selling any Cooper Flagg stock, but it's a struggle for him. He has the 2nd worst plus-minus in the league. His shooting numbers are unsightly to say the least. I think he's a good passer for a 6'9", 18-year-old forward, but he's not a good passer for an NBA point guard. Certainly not right now. And the stats back that up. Through 9 games, Flagg is averaging 14.1 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 2.7 assists. Those numbers aren't terrible for a rookie, but he's shooting just 40.3% from the field and 29% from 3. His plus-minus is minus 69.
Nice.
Which is the second worst in the league. Mavs Moneyball wrote a piece titled, "Should We Be Worried for Cooper Flagg?" And it's devastating. They wrote, "The Mavericks are not doing right by Cooper Flagg. For a generational rookie, the ping pong ball could have bounced anywhere. Maybe to Washington, where Flagg would have missed shots, lost games, but played freely in his role and grown through reps. Instead, he lands in Dallas, a franchise that went to the finals in 2024, then detonated its core on that fateful February night. They go on and say that Jason Kidd didn't slide Cooper Flagg into a natural forward slot. He hasn't protected him with spacing or ball handling support. No, he started him at point guard, essentially handing an 18-year-old slasher the keys to a brick-heavy, sans-Kyrie offense with no navigation system. And you know what? They finally made a change. Against New Orleans, they started D'Angelo Russell at point guard and moved Flagg to his natural position. And guess what happened? Flagg had 20 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks.
No! No way. No, really? You moved a point guard to a point guard position, and all of a sudden the other players played better? Wow!
Like the player that everyone expected.
Honestly, this is the sad part. Like, I would be like, oh, Patrick Dumont should just fire everyone, but he's the one who started this. Those 3 knuckleheads, Jason Kidd, if he was behind this, he's probably the least innocent, or the most innocent out of all these people. Nico Harrison, and then Patrick Dumont are the 3 stooges now, man. I'm going to call them the 3 stooges. The 3 stooges in Dallas are morons. They're morons. Unless Jason Kidd fought against it, which he clearly didn't. I mean, he's still the coach, right? Like, if that were me, I'd be like, you're not going to trade the guy who brought me to the finals. What are you talking about? And Jason Kidd should know what it looks like. He's been to the finals twice. I think twice. Either way. As the point guard. What are we talking about? How are they, like, I can't even be like, yeah, fire them. They're not worth it. You're all dumb. The owners are dumb. Like, I'm not even trying to be mean. Like, I'm not even trying to be hateful or anything. I'm trying to be a good person. But, like, truly, these people are, like, how are you this, like...
But they still lost to the worst team in the Western Conference by 2 points, and they didn't even have Zion Williamson for that game. The damage is done. Cooper Flagg is currently behind VJ Edgecombe for Rookie of the Year, but honestly, VJ Edgecombe is awesome, so that's not really a surprise. He's averaging 21 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 5.4 assists for the Sixers. But Flagg was supposed to run away with the award. Now, he's an afterthought. I want to really emphasize how terrible the Dallas Mavericks offense is. According to Basketball Reference, the Mavericks have posted a relative offensive rating of negative 11.8 through 8 games. That would be the worst in NBA history if it holds up for an entire season. Relative offensive rating compares you to the league average. The Mavericks aren't just below average, they're so far below average that they're making history. Of the
It's because they didn't have a point guard. They had an 18-year-old. They didn't even do it to LeBron. Do you guys realize that? They didn't even do it to Luka. They didn't do it to LeBron or Luka. Luka played off the ball for, like, at least half the time in Dallas in his first year. He got the ball a lot in his first year. LeBron was the small forward, power forward. He definitely didn't have the ball that much. And fast break he did because he's a monster, especially as a rookie in a first 5 or 6 years of LeBron's fast break was insane. Everyone was wondering if it was the best ever. But no one's ever done this. What they're doing to Cooper. No one's ever done that. No one's ever said, "Hey, 18-year-old, go be the starting point guard for the team." They've never done that ever. And then you bring in D'Angelo Russell, and it gets better. And it's like, yeah, obviously, even though D'Lo is not like a traditional point guard, at least he knows more about being a point guard than Cooper Flagg does. You know. Like,
19 teams to finish a season with a relative offensive rating of negative 7.5 or worse. None won more than 27 games. The Mavericks are at negative 11.8. They're averaging 106 points per game. That's ranked 30th in the league. That's dead last. They lack consistent shooting, playmaking from their guards, an isolation scorer who can create his own shot. Klay Thompson, who is supposed to be their shooter, is struggling. He's been so bad.
I'm going to end it there. If you guys want to watch the rest of this, definitely check out The Flight Mike. And yeah, he's got a lot of good stuff. It's just sad, honestly, and it's funny. I had to react to this one, though, because I have talked about it on my channel so much That it's like if I didn't react to this video, I would feel like I'm missing out a little bit because he always does a great job of breaking it down. But I knew this was going to happen. I'm just laughing every game that they lose. I'm just like, ha, I knew it, you guys. And I feel bad for Cooper Flag. I don't, that definitely wasn't lost on me. I definitely feel bad for Cooper Flag. He doesn't deserve to be thrust into this position to expect him to be the point guard. Like, he's been playing a lot less than these guys. He doesn't understand NBA offenses like they do. It's ridiculous. And I hope D. Russell is the starter the whole time because otherwise it's going to be a mess. And honestly, I don't really care that much. Like, if it is, it is, not my problem. I'm not a Dallas Mavericks fan. I'm a Luka Doncic fan and a Bulls fan. And that's it. So, I unfollowed all Dallas Mavericks stuff the second they traded him. I was very against them trading him, obviously. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below if you have an opinion about it. If you think I'm wrong, please comment. I would love to hear why, because I think this is the worst trade of all time. When you're shopping for your Christmas presents for your friends and family, check out QuestCrate.shop. We have good deals, good prices, and half of the profits go to the Tim Tebow Foundation to help the kids who need it the most. Check out that foundation as well as QuestCrate.shop this holiday season.